Peace, chosen ones. Happy Our Wisdom Wednesday. I hope you all are doing well, and happy October. Finally made it to the autumnal equinox. Finally made it to fall. Finally made it to October. It took a while to get here. So this is my first updated video. The previous 3 videos were from December 2024, so if you check those out, thank you for listening. If you haven't checked those out yet, I will highly recommend it because it goes into the energies that's happening right here today, basically, that I spoke on almost a year ago, but I also have them linked in the description here as well. So today, since it is October 1st, I'm going to talk about ancestors, the importance of ancestor veneration, honoring your ancestors, and building your altar. Ancestor veneration is something that's so important to me. It's so near and dear to my heart. It's something that I personally do daily. You don't have to do it daily. It's usually recommended that weekly is enough, but for me, a week is too long. A week is too long. I have to do it daily, me personally. And I just want to talk about when I first built my own personal ancestor altar, which was, I believe it was the spring of 2019. It was the spring of 2019 when I did my my grand altar. But prior to that, I want to say maybe November, December 2018, I just had a regular, small, simple altar, and that's totally fine. Either way is fine. The small altars are actually recommended because they're quick and easy setup. And traditionally, we just have a table dedicated to your altar and to your ancestors, a side table, whatever, a desk, anything. And traditionally, we have a white cloth, a glass of water, photos of your ancestors or their personal items, any type of memorabilia, anything that reminds you of them. And traditionally, we give candies and sweets and their favorite foods and things like that. Now, it's frowned upon to have salt or salty foods on your altar because salt is actually a repellent, so it drives away spirits. But at the same time, it depends on you and your ancestors and how your ancestors used to eat. And I'm not even talking about ancestors you don't know. I'm talking about the ancestors that you do know who passed away. You might have a parent who passed away, or even a child, a grandmother, any loved one that passed away. Now, me personally, I follow the more traditional way of setting up my altar. So I don't use salt in my foods when I put foods on my altar. But again, you got to listen to yourself. You have to follow your own intuition. You do it your way. You see what works for you. If adding salt to your food doesn't bother you for your ancestor altar, then so be it. Do it. I just want to point that out. To make your ancestor altar you are your ancestors. Make it with the things that you like, or the things that you're used to, or what's comfortable for you. Everybody has a certain way of doing things. Everybody has a set rule of instructions, or it's traditionally done like this, and the book says like this. That doesn't matter. That's not how I live my life. I live my life according to what works for me. I don't care what the books say. I don't care what a person who's been doing altars for 100 years say. It's how I feel is the way my altar is going to go. So make sure you personalize it to you. We can't always depend on other people to tell us how things are supposed to go. We have to learn to trust ourselves, especially right here, right now. We are in the year number 9. This is the end of this cycle. And I'm going to talk about this cycle in another video, but it's the end of this cycle. And a personal thing for me in this cycle that I think everybody should look into is just following yourself, trusting yourself. We're supposed to follow God. We're actually not supposed to even follow other humans. But I digress. I'm getting off into something else. Let's stick to the altar. So your altar, make sure you have a picture. Now, you don't want to place a picture of yourself on your altar because your altar is for your deceased ancestors, and you are not deceased, and you don't want to be deceased anytime soon. No personal pictures or items of your own on your altar, because it's for the ancestors. And ancestor veneration is so important to me. Honestly, my battle with spiritual warfare did not ease up until I made my ancestor altar, until I started venerating my ancestors with my white cloth, my pictures, my glass of water, my white candle. It didn't ease up until I started talking to my ancestors, my spirit team, the people who protect and look after me in the spirit. It didn't ease up until I reached out. And another thing, if your ancestors were religious like mine were, you could have a Bible as well, or whatever religious text you would like. I personally have my Bible open to Psalm 91 on my ancestor altar for protection, and it works for me. It works for me. Now, this is not going to work for everybody because everybody doesn't believe in it, and that's okay. But it's going to work for somebody, and that's enough. These upcoming months of fall and winter are the perfect time for ancestor venerations, because this is the time where the veil is the thinnest. This is the time where there's not really any barrier between the spiritual and the physical realms. Honestly, that barrier has been dissipating for years now. So whether it was October or whatever, it really doesn't matter, because the veil has been dissipating for years now. There's really no disconnect from the spiritual and physical realms at this point. But traditionally in October, that's when the veil is the thinnest. And this is why it's a perfect time for your altars to be set. And we're venerating our ancestors, and we are in a positive energy and in a happy mood and thankful and grateful. Others are not. Other people are not. Other people are very mean, very negative, very angry, very aggressive, very pessimistic, very demonic, basically. And just like how our beautiful, sweet, good spirits and ancestors can come through the portal, so can malevolent ones. So can evil ones, so can demonic ones. And right now is the perfect time for you to honor and venerate your ancestors for that extra protection, for that added protection, for your ancestors to know, hey, this is somebody that we need to really keep an eye on and look out for. And they're communicating with us through the altar. Now, the things I talk about are not going to be for everyone, especially if there's religious people listening to me. I personally don't have a problem with any religion, but I'm not religious, even though I use religious texts and have some religious ideologies. But that's because, for one, religion is my foundation. I respect religion. I respect all religion. And two, it works. Like, it works. It's as simple as that. It's what you believe in. So just because I don't identify as religious, I'm not going to strip that away from my ancestors because they were religious. This is why I have the Bible open on my altar. And like I said, for me personally, it works. I read scripture daily, but I still don't identify as religious. And I'm definitely not going to church. That's another conversation as well. So now, because we're in October, the veil is thinning, we can have direct communication with our ancestors. You can any time of the year, but especially right now. Even if you can't set up a small altar, just simply speaking to your ancestors, thinking about them, that's enough for right now. Because in the year number 9, we need all the spiritual and physical help we can get. Year number 9 is like a constant freaking hurricane that it doesn't let up. Like every day, every second, it's a year number 9 until it's not, which will be the spring equinox of March 2026. So we still have a ways to go. We still, even though it is October, we still have a ways to go. And a lot of people are probably going to be thinking that the year number 9 would be over January 1st, and that would be incorrect. That would be correct according to the Gregorian calendar, but I use the calendar of the ancestors. I use the original calendar before it was colonized, much like everything else. So March 2026 is when this energy, this heavy energy, will be lifted and we'll start a new cycle. And the way you end and begin your cycle is everything from personal experiences. So I don't have any notes. I'm talking about, so I didn't really have any notes. I didn't have not one note I'm basically just talking off the top of my head because I don't want these videos to be so strict and so formal and so by the rules and by the book. That's not what this is about. This is for me to express myself. This is for me to speak my mind. This is for me to put information out there, really for people to hear it 15, 20 years from now, honestly. If you stayed to the end, thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit that like button, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next week on the next episode of Our Wisdom Wednesday. Peace. I love you. Bye.